So that's Flint and Steel 101. Welcome to Stockman Originals. Today is a good day. Demonstrations in fire making. Not sure all of our people have had the benefit of seeing such a thing. And today we're just going to go over flint and steel fire making in a survival situation.
The back of the house.
Yeah, back of the house, nice little fire pit. So when you're going to make fire with a flint and steel or bow drill or any other more primitive technique, the first thing you want to do is to prepare your fire for this. You don't want to make a handful of fire and then no place to put it. Oh, wait a minute. Be right back. So I'll build us a little fire here and then we'll light it up. First thing you want to do is check the wind direction. And this is a piece of thistledown. And at this very minute, it says it's going that way. Although I know most of it's been going that way. We're just gonna go with it. So what I do is, bearing in mind that the wind direction, I take a couple of decent sized logs, not huge, and I point them in the direction the wind's coming from, okay? Gives air under what I'm about to build here. So the air can get under the fire and kind of bellows it up. It doesn't hurt to even bring them together like that to force the issue. Then I've prepared a bunch of, these are white pine, dead white pine limbs from right off the tree. Unless it's been pouring for a day and a half, these things are usually dry enough to ignite, especially when you get them as fine as this. So I just lay that on top of the little cradle I've made here. Spread it out just a wee bit. Got my sticks segregated into thicknesses, this being the finer gauge. Then I've got a bunch of next step up sticks. Again, same stuff. When you pile them on there, you want to do it in a way that there's plenty of air between them, because it's like if you took a piece of paper and put it down on a table, you could hit it with a torch and it might char up a bit, but it won't burst into flames. It's got to have that air in between. Books are really hard to burn.
Yeah.
So this way you fluff it up, give it plenty of air. Air is as much a fuel, oxygen, as the wood you're burning, so you need plenty of that. I have come to the conclusion that fire is a living, breathing thing. It breathes oxygen, it eats wood, it's uncontrollable if in the wrong situation. It's got a mind of its own. Now this is what I use for, call it a nest, for getting the fire going. I'm a woodworker and I use a spoke shave for making axe handles and things like that. And the results are this really nice shavings or curly cues. That's Tinder, okay? Now there's another phase of that, a little finer. This is from the underbark of a dead cottonwood or poplar tree. Cottonwood, poplars, aspen, they're pretty much all over North America. This is from the underbark of that, and you break it off, the bark, and peel this stuff out and let it dry real good, and you shred it up. Some people refer to this as tow, and tow is a byproduct of working flax, linen, and such. You get the scraps and stuff, which looks very similar to this and is very flammable. The next thing that you need is char cloth. Char cloth is a cotton or a linen natural fiber fabric that has been scorched to char. And what you need to do that with is a little tin like this, and it's got a single little hole in the top, okay? And this has already been done, okay? So you put your little squares of cloth in there. Again, no synthetics, no wool. Got to be a plant-based fiber. Put it in here and put this overheat a fire, and the smoke will start to billow out of this little chimney hole. And when that smoke starts to dissipate and go away, that's a good time to pull it off and check it. Sometimes the actual fire will get into the hole and it will start glowing inside, which you don't want. Now, back to the fire here, I like pine and birch bark. Birch bark is an incredible fire maker. It's got a lot of oil in it. It's very volatile. It's generally even good when wet. If you can get a flame into it, when it's wet, it'll burn. Okay, set that in there like that. And then I'm gonna make my little nest out of some of this. This is more than likely, this is ash. Could be hickory, but it's more than likely ash. I'm gonna put just some of that there. A little nest that a little bird would love to put eggs in. I'm going to take a char cloth and I'm going to use a generous amount. You don't really need this much, but for the sake of I don't want this to fail, on film. This is a nice piece of flint. This is, if we could hold that up to the light. Does that show with the light coming through? Call that root beer flint. That's from the Knife River, I believe, in North Dakota. And if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. It could be South Dakota, but I know it's one of the Dakotas. And it's beautiful flint and very sparky. Yeah, that's nice. Now, it could technically be chert, but as far as I'm concerned, it's got every feature of flint. It's just translucent, really sharp, very hot. So I lay the char cloth on top of the flint, because when you're striking through, you'll see a lot of the sparks will scoot along the top of the stone. And then there she goes. See that? Nice, huh? Now, just put that in here gently. Don't want to snuff it out. Roll it up. And then want lots of oxygen. You can see them on the movies blowing into their nest of embers, and that's fine, but you're blowing moisture in there too. From your lawn. Yeah. And yeah, oh yeah, she's getting warm now.
Oh yeah.
I can hear the sizzling of the birch bark already. At this point, once you get the fire going, you can't just sit there and admire it. You gotta make sure it's got enough to eat. So put a decent piece on here that I know will carry the fire on while I go hunt for more firewood. A lot of guys and gals I know can do this stuff probably in the total dark. I've had to do it in the total dark before too, and it's not that hard. I've had living in a teepee one time, had to cross a brook and forgot the lighters and stuff back at the vehicle. Get into the teepee and you're going around until you find, oh, there's my bag of tricks, and you get all your stuff out and you can feel your way through this operation, and had fire going in no time. This has actually been a lot of fun, because usually we spark a fire up in the evening, you know, everybody sits down with their libations or whatever relaxes them and enjoys the fire. But when you strike one up in the morning, it makes you feel like you're camping. Roscoe, you probably ought to move. Now see?
Like the wind is blowing and
the wind just shifted on us. But you do everything to give you the advantage, even though obviously you don't need it, you know, if you got a good fire going, it's gonna burn anyway. But don't forget to hit like and comments and tell me about your fire making experiences. Yeah, we need some of them trout that Ed had.